I was watching a very new friend of mine, subscriber, whose name is 1DRock, 1DRock, and a load of numbers afterwards, and if you think I'm even going to remember 13657, then you're much mistaken. So 1DRock, he did a video, or basically what's happened is I subscribed to him about a week ago, and I find him extremely funny, and I thought, well, if it's that funny, I've got to go back and check out who he is. So I went yesterday and I checked out loads of his videos, and I didn't realise how many videos I watched and commented on, because he replied to them all. So I spammed him and he spammed me. So he did one video which was named Sleeping with the Dead, I do believe. And so basically it was a film that depicts what happens in Nashville, or certainly within his family, sleeping with the dead. So I would like to make my response by the following way. Younger, obviously, death was something that the parents dealt with, and that the children was told that somebody passed away, and that, you know, and that's basically the most information that children cannot handle, maybe, without it sending them a little bit overboard. When I came to Bulgaria, I found that things are a little bit different. My father-in-law, palm olive soap, he'd already had a couple of strokes. He had 2 mini strokes this one day while we were bringing the family's winter wood into the garden. He had 2 mini strokes, and we also found that we didn't know, maybe he knew, maybe we didn't, I don't know, but we also found that he had bowel cancer. Now the bowel cancer within the hospital became, hello, driving like a maniac, you're gonna die! Back to the point. He had 2 mini strokes, I think I've already said that, and he had bowel cancer, I think I've already said that. Anyway, he was in the hospital for a month, and basically I stayed in the hospital for a month, caring for him, washing him, and changing his... unfortunately, he was asleep all the time. Sent him home. Now, I must admit, all this time, the doctor didn't tell me what was wrong with him. Not even my family knew what was wrong with him. He was brought home to die. The doctors knew that that's what was going to happen within the next, day or so. So they sent him home. There is no hospice in Bulgaria. You either die in the hospital or you die at home. Sorry, I could say pass away, but I'm saying die. Anyway, he came home to pass away, and when it became quite complicated for me, because growing up as a Manchester lad, I know a specific tradition which the Manchester people have, which I know that changed, and this is why it changed. When his breathing became so erratic and shallow, we went down to the doctor's office, we collected the doctor, brought him to the house, and the doctor took his pulse, his blood pressure, and then also took his and within 3 minutes the father-in-law passed away after the doctor arrived. So after 15 minutes, the family members, there was only 3 of us, the family members had had a cry, and then unfortunately there was no time to just cry. There was no time to mourn. There was no time to bash his chest and say, why? I'll tell you why there was no time. because my wife and I had to go to the local municipality building to go and buy a coffin, which to keep in the basement. We also had to take the doctor back to his office to carry on work. We also had to go and get two of the other old pension ladies to come round to the house to arrange the body. We also had to go and find some male neighbours and ask them did they have time to come and dig the grave. We also didn't have time to mourn because when I returned back to the house, my mother-in-law, myself, and one of the old ladies took his pyjamas off, washed his body, replaced his body with his best suit and his best badge, which was a cap, a gold cap badge. Brought the coffin into the house, laid the coffin on the bed, put the father-in-law in the coffin, then the coffin went onto the centre table in the living room, where it was then on display for 1 day. His family from the centre of the country came to visit, and 2 hours before the actual funeral, neighbours, friends came to visit. We don't live in a big town, we don't live in a big city. We live in a little holiday resort far away, which is very busy in the summer and very quiet in the winter. So we don't have funeral cars, we don't have hearses, we don't have stretch limousines, we don't have anything posh, we don't have anything that costs incredible amounts of money. The people here are not brainwashed to believe that a real funeral costs money. Every family in Bulgaria celebrates a funeral in the same way. Let me just describe what actually happened. The coffin was taken out into the garden by visiting men, because the men who were digging the grave are still digging the grave. The priest has been fetched, and you don't go to a church. The priest comes to your house, he blesses the body, and walks in front of the transport that takes the coffin to the cemetery. The transport can be one of many ways. Remember, there is no hearse. It can be a horse and cart, the type of cart that collects hay. It can be a donkey and cart, the type of cart that collects old scrap metal. It can be a pickup truck. It can be a mud pickup truck. But as it happened, the vehicle that we had at the time was a Renault Rapid. This is about the size of a standard Japanese medium-sized car, but is a van, has 2 seats, and the back area is for baggage, storage, cargo. Now the total length was about 5 foot. The coffin is 6 foot, which means that it's sticking out the back. So the back doors were open. We tied the coffin into the back of the van using rope and nails. Yes, I know that it doesn't sound like the ideal, beautiful funeral, but it's the Bulgarian way. And who am I and who are you to say that it's wrong? I drove the van to the cemetery with the priest and all family members and friends following by foot, I might add, by foot to the cemetery. The men who helped to dig, they then came to the car to carry the coffin to the burial ground. And then there was a party for all the people involved. Sorry, a wake. We call this a wake. In England it's called a wake, whereas you go back for a party and drinks and celebrate the life of that person. That's basically what happened.